Welcome back, everyone. This is the second lecture in our Gilded Age unit. In this lecture, we're going to cover childhood labor. So I'm going to share my screen and get right to it. Okay, so childhood lost. So this is America's working class during the Gilded Age. So the emergence of the working class. So after the American Civil War, the availability of natural resources, new inventions, and a receptive market combined to fuel an industrial boom in the United States. This era of industrial growth transformed American society, creating a new class of wealthy entrepreneurs and a comfortable middle class. The increase in industry also resulted in a growth among the blue-collar working class families. This causes a demand for labor, and workers were needed to fill these new jobs in mines, mills, and in factories. Because there was a huge wave of immigration during this time, a steady supply of workers were available, which helped to keep profits high and wages low. This is important to note, right? Because the Irish potato famine in Ireland is happening during this time, and so Irish immigrants are flooding through into New York City and into northern factories looking for work because they were all dying in Ireland of a famine. So interesting. That's why, so I'm Irish. So there's that. My red beard. This labor force was made up of millions of newly arrived immigrants and vast numbers of families migrating from rural areas to cities with the hope of job security and economic prosperity. But it's not all that it's cracked up to be. Sadly, most were disappointed when they arrived and discovered that opportunities that they had been promised did not exist in America. But someone is getting rich over these factories. While these industries were incredibly profitable, the workers who toiled in them did not see this reflected in their paychecks. In addition to very low wages, workers' complaints included very long hours and dangerous working conditions. And in 1895, the average income for an urban male worker was $400 a year, equivalent to about $11,000 today in today's money. That's insane. You can make more than that working part-time at, well, personally, when I was younger, I worked at Subway and made more than that. So everybody does their share. The jobs available required long hours and offered little pay. Every able family member, including children, needed to work to supplement the household income. Children had always worked, especially in farming community. Of course, they're mowing outside my window. 1 second. Okay, sorry. But factory work was hard. A child with a factory job might work 12 to 18 hours a day, guys, 6 days a week, just to earn $1. Many children began working before the age of 7, tending machines in spinning mills or hauling heavy loads. The factories were often damp, dark, and dirty. Some children worked underground in coal mines. Factories employed children were often very dangerous and places leading to injuries and even deaths. Machinery often ran so quickly that little fingers and arms and legs could easily get caught within them. Beyond the equipment, the environment was a threat to children as well. Fumes and toxins, as factories put out, killed children. When inhaled by children, these toxins could result in illness, chronic conditions, or diseases later in life. Beyond the topic of safety, children working lengthy hours had limited access to an education. Many families relied on income earned by each family member and did not allow children to attend school at all. Those fortunate enough to be enrolled often attended only portions of a school day or only a few weeks at a time. In 1870, the 1870 census found that 1 out of every child was employed. This rate increased to more than 1 in 5 children by 1900. Between 1890 and 1910, no less than 18% of the children ages 10 to 15 worked. Age was only one consideration in deciding whether a child was ready to work. Being big enough to work was usually not a metaphor about reaching a certain birthday. Rather, it was often about the physical size of the child, as well as the acumen of the child appeared to have in performing the labor required. So in other words, the responsibility or the work ethic. Age and size, however, were not the only factors that determined whether a child had to work. Distinctions between children expected to work and those not expected to work were made on the basis of family income became increasingly evident. Children from families at lower end of the class spectrum were frequently employed, whereas the concern about idle youths did not appear to be one shared by the upper classes. As one well-to-do father explained in 1904, we work for our children, plan for them, spend money on them, buy life insurance for their protection, and some of us even save money for them. But at the lower end of the income scale, though, families were forced to use their children for their labor without the luxury of saving for their future. During the Gilded Age, children under the age of 16 contributed about 20% of the average household's income. These children worked, not because their parents were heartless, but because their earnings were absolutely essential for the family's survival. This is the last lecture for the Gilded Age unit. I hope that you've enjoyed this. It is because of this age, right, that laws change and people are able, your age, right, to have restrictions upon when you can work and how many hours you can work and how much pay you should get. So these children suffered until we were able to get labor laws that allowed them to flourish, right? So then we also have laws now that force kids to go and get an education. So these are the things that all change in the early 1900s, right before we get into World War I. So until I see you next time, have a good day.